This is a totally different podcast episode than I usually do because here I'm showcasing the amazing people who will be at a Freelance Unlocked Conference, the first conference for freelancers that made with love, and it'll take place in Berlin on May 15th, 16th, 2024. If you are a freelancer in Europe, it's an event made for you to learn, exchange experiences, and build your network of great freelancers and experts who move the freelance economy forward. So go to freelanceunlocked.com and grab your ticket right away. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Maruan Faraj, who started as a freelancer and now is the founder and CEO of the successful premium consultancy Finally Freelancing. With a team of 20, he has already worked with over 850 self-employed individuals in the fields of design, IT, and digital, helping them significantly increase their revenues. So, hello, Maruan.
Hello, Yuri. Thanks for having me.
I feel like talking to a celebrity. You're helped already so many freelancers, and I just don't know how it works. So I will ask you everything I want to ask today. So let's start with this. How did you start your journey in the freelance world?
Actually, I always feel weird to say go for your dreams and start freelancing because it was not like that for me, because I only started freelancing when I got kicked out of my job
Oh,
as an
yeah.
employed person. But everybody got kicked out because the company shut down, and I was always flirting with the idea, maybe I should get into freelancing, maybe I should do my own thing, but I was never brave enough to jump. And then actually somebody just pushed me, like the company shut down, and I said, okay, now or never. You're still young. I was 24 at that time. It was 2014. I was 24 at that time. And I said, you have low expenses. You don't have to have a family to provide for. Try freelancing now. So I got into freelancing, and I remember the first rush that came to me. I was like, oh my God, I can do design work. I do WordPress websites. I do banners, and I can write invoices for 30, 40 euros an hour, and people will pay me. I'm gonna get rich. It's easy as that. I can decide how much I earn. And this was pretty much the journey into like becoming a freelancer. The very first steps. It was at the end of 2014, at the beginning of 2015.
Were you afraid?
Like at first, I wasn't, because I think for everybody listening, of course, there's a bit um, like you don't know what's waiting for you, and you don't have this salary mindset. You gotta hunt your own food, sort of. But the trick to that was, maybe it's easy for me to say it, because my expenses were really low. I paid like a few hundred euros for my flat, and I didn't need much to live for. I would be much more afraid if I was a family father of four and had a big house and a big car, because you have a different kind of pressure and you're starting
Yeah.
a new thing. So it was like this unknown thing, but I was always, I loved the risk. I was a risk taker. But then I was like, after a few years, I was kind of demoralized, because I was like, okay, you're earning now maybe 6,000 euros a month, but you work 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week. And if you count it down as an employed person, you only work 40 hours. It's roughly the same. So I ended up like, I was really not feeling good. I looked even more bad than I do now, like my eyes and everything. And I went to the doctor, and he said, yeah, you're like this far from a burnout, and you only don't have a burnout because you are in your mid 20s and you have energy.
Yeah.
But either you go back to employment, or you change something. And this was the first time when I asked myself as a freelancer, why is it so stressful? And the thing why it was so stressful was, I started as like a lot of freelancers, since I worked with hundreds of freelancers. And I did so many surveys on this, the main reason people start being self-employed, or freelancers especially, is freedom and
Hmm.
living on your own terms. It's like this freedom thing. You want to have the freedom to choose. You want to have the freedom of options. And I wasn't as free as I thought I was, because my freedom was dependent on my client. So I was kind of I was held hostage by my client's mood, by my client. I was like, how can I stop this if I can control getting new clients and if I can choose my clients? And this was the moment for me where I said, maybe you need to, because freelancers, I was really good at design, UX design, everything. Like I knew this field in and out. I loved it. Watch YouTube videos, everything, pattern libraries. Back then it was Photoshop, then it was Sketch, then it became Figma. Like I was really into these kind of things. And then I said, okay, maybe you getting better at these things will not make you a better freelancer, but getting better maybe at marketing, at sales will give you peace of mind because you can control how many clients you'll have. You don't have these fluctuations anymore. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of got into it. I over like 1, 2, 3 years, I solved it, and it was my freelancing was much, much, much better. And people of my friends, like freelancers, no freelancer. I was in co-working, WeWork here in Hamburg. We have WeWork, and people are like, "Oh, how do you do that? You were on holidays. Did you work?" I said, "No, I was 3 weeks off work." How did your client do that? And I just gave them tips on the go. And after a few months, always my phone rang. Hey, it worked. The client said yes. Can I invite you for lunch? I said, yeah, of course. And then at the end of 2019, I was like, oh man, there are so many freelancers that are like the Maruan from 2017 that
Mm-hmm.
haven't solved these problems for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why not start a consultancy for freelancers where you teach
Yeah.
them marketing, sales? Because sales is sort of a nasty thing for freelancers. Nobody wants to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, it's like these things you don't talk about because they're like freelancers are really in love with their craft. They see themselves, a lot of freelancers, even coders, see themselves as artists. And an artist doesn't want to be salesy because you have this romantic thing. If you're good at what you do, people will approach you, people will come by themselves, never sell. Just
Yeah.
let, and they have this, they think they do shitty work. They end up at Fiverr or at eBay if they sell their work. And I started to teach them, if you want to do good work, you need to be able to sell good, because you will start to work differently if your hourly rate is 150 euros or 200 euros than 20 euros. It makes you a better person. You don't send something out, work 3 hours on it, and gain 150 euros because you have a different bar for your work. If somebody like bargains you down to 30 euros and you have no options, you say, just take it. It's 30 euros. Don't complain. You're even mad at your own work because there's so much frustration and hatred in it. And with the 100, 200, 300, even 500 hours clients, you are in love with the project. I can ship it like that. It's a premium.
Mm.
It's something beautiful. Let me do this code thing. Let me do this design thing. Let me do this add-on. Let me do this for free. Like, and this is when 2020, I said, okay, let's try to teach freelancers freelancing. This was the start as a one-man company, and fast forward 3 years, we are now roughly 20 people. Like a few days ago, we hit client number 900, and I love what I do because we help freelancers, and I love working with freelancers.
Now it's interesting. I hear like you are when you are having this higher rates than like usual, you can allow yourself to really do this artwork, because when you're
Yes,
having the standard rate, you're just working for time. Okay, hours out, I'm out. And I'm not doing anything
yes,
else. But when you are like charging more than your hourly rate, that's exactly you can, yes, I will do this because I love this. And I feel like clients also feel that.
yes, yes. Definitely, clients feel that, and some kind of clients don't even take you seriously if you don't meet a certain bar, like
Yeah.
with your rate or with your scope. It's like it's a it's a thing for premium, you know. You're like people. It's also a status thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
my guy charges this and this because he's the best at the best, and I've gone full circle because now I work with freelancers as a
Hmm.
like freelancers work for me. I'm not the freelancer anymore. They work for my company, and I catch myself how I not go for the cheapest one. I go
Mm.
for the best one. And the thing is, Maybe the best one costs 3 times as much, 4 times as much, 5 times as much, but his thing that he ships is 10, 20, 30 times as good as a
Hmm.
mediocre freelancer. And I didn't even mention the headache he saves me, the thinking he does for me, the ideas he brings in. And this is a thing we teach freelancers to sell these things to the client, which you're already delivering to him, if you're a good freelancer.
And I feel like in this way, you are also teaching clients to get better freelancer for themselves. Because when you understand, but I'm not like saying like you are exactly as you are in your team, but we are freelancers. So you teach them how to deal with clients and they teach clients how to get
Yes,
the best of the best.
yes, yes.
So what is your take on the freelance economy and how it will develop in the near future?
I think it will grow. I'm really optimistic when it comes to freelancing. I have my own vision. I want to reach 1 million freelancers. And this is my vision because I I'm an immigrant. We immigrated from Iraq to Germany. And only when I started freelancing, I really had the feeling that I have control of my life,
Hmm.
because I had this, it's maybe it sounds like the American dream, but it was in Germany. I had this, if you want something, you can work for it. You can change your life. You can do better work. I was like, I was, I was falling in love with getting better.
Hmm.
And now I have a company where I pay 20 people salaries and where we change the lives of freelancers. And for me, um, the freelancers of today, not all, but a lot of freelancers of today, are entrepreneurs of tomorrow. And entrepreneurs of tomorrow are the people who drive innovation and prosperity into a country or into a nation. And this
Yeah.
is a thing which is really important, especially for Europe, especially for Germany in these times. It's really, really important that we don't fall behind. And I think the work economy will depend more and more on freelancers. Have fun hiring a TikTok ad specialist. You won't find anyone. Where do you end up with the freelancers? Because freelancers are the people, they are the early adopters. I mean, when we talked before, you said, "Yeah, I have my transcription here, and I have they give me the summary and everything." You won't find that in an employed person somewhere. This is freelancers. We are nerds. We go into it. We see these things and we use it. And we are the first ones of the workforce who use new technology, use these things. And as a company in a ever-changing, dynamic economy, I don't want to, especially in Europe, because in Europe, most of the rights are on the side of the employer's side.
Yeah.
You can't fire people so easy and everything. It's really hard for an entrepreneur. With freelancers, you have all the freedom and you have top-notch knowledge, technology, and they can help you out. And especially with AI and everything, things start even to accelerate. Like, still, people are building websites or writing their text, but there's some smart freelancer who uses AI and has a 10x output and can serve 10 clients simultaneously. And each
Yeah.
client pays him 3K a month and has
Mhm.
30K. And he lives everywhere and he's 24, and makes over 300 grand a year. I've seen that. And we had clients like this. And I'm like, this changes the rules, this changes everything. And this is why I'm really in love with the topic, freelancing in the future.
Got it. So, talking about the topic, so give me a sneak peek into what you'll be talking about on the Freelance Unlocked stage.
I talk about when and how to raise prices with clients. This is the thing. This is a method we came up with, and like I had the idea for the method, but the thing is, when you have hundreds and hundreds of people where you tried the method, then it gets better with every person. So we really trimmed it down and perfectioned it for freelancers, and it's a method. When is the right time to approach existing clients to raise your prices? How do you do that? Because a lot of things can go wrong. Been there, done that. Like a client from me approached me back in the days. Hey, could we do this workshop? And I listened to another guy. He said, "Yeah, workshops are like 1,500 euros for 4 hours." I was like, "Yeah, it's 1,500 euros for 4 hours." And the client was like, the client was really mad at me. He said, "How could you?" I was like, "What did I do wrong? Your hourly rate was 80 euros, and now you want 1,000." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I really pissed off the client. And it's like I go into these details how you can keep the client's sanity and also the client's pride. Clients are
Hmm.
really you don't want, like, you don't want to say take it or leave it. You want to still give them the feeling of control. If you're like,
Hmm.
I make the rules now, they're like, who are you? There's a lot of a psychological factor, a technical factor. How do you do that? And when's the right time and when's not the right time? Because it's not the right time if it's the only client left and I bluff and I say I'm all in, and the client says, "So you're gone. I won't go with you. You're gone." And like, fuck, I lost my last client. This is not a good way to go. Like, how to prepare, because the one who has the best leverage in a negotiation is the one where the outcome, he doesn't care about the outcome, because either way he's got clients, and you want to bring yourself into that position before you start the negotiation. It's really, really important. And I want to make a deep dive about that, and maybe I'll do it. Uh, maybe I prepare a cheat sheet or something like that, and I can give to the people, which they can just have like sort of a bullet checklist how to go about that if they want to try it at home and take it with them.
So we are talking currently about how to increase prices and how to talk to clients about that, but how to mentally justify a price increase for yourself.
How to mentally justify a price increase for yourself, so you don't risk seeing yourself as an imposter, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, somebody is having like 50 euros an hour rate, and then
Yes.
like they listen to your speech and like, oh, I want to go for 200 per hour. And then like, oh, I don't know if I'm worth it. Oh, what will people say? Maybe I should do just by 60 hours, I mean 60 euros per hour. So how to mentally justify that you're really worth more than you
Yes.
think you're worth?
Yes, first of all, it's not like this chaka chaka thing where I was like, just believe in it and the universe will give it back to you. I think this kind of thing is bullshit. Like then, but I still start always at the end goal.
Mhm.
Like, and one question I love to ask clients of mine, I said, do you want your next 5 years to be like your last 5 years? And this is a question that wakes them up.
Hmm.
Because if they worked for 50, 60, 70, 80 hours, 80 euros an hour, they're like, "Ah, it's okay now, but the next 5 years, no, I wanna move on. I wanna evolve." And define what evolving means for you.
Mhm.
What kind of freelancer do you want to be? Do you want to do also consultancy because you're so good? Do you want to lead teams? Do you want to go really deep in your field of expertise and have role models? Who's the best of the best in this field? What does this person charge? Because then you see you see something that is possible. Back in the day, I was like, oh my God, how can people charge? And at my best times as a freelancer at the like 2019, I had 500 euros an hour. Like, of course, it was not like I didn't went to my client and said, I'm 500 euros an hour, because he says, you're crazy. I'd love to have this much an hour. There are other techniques to it, but you start with the end thing in mind, and then you you have different paths to reach that goal, but you justify it by, it's easy as that, the value you bring to the clients or to the client must be, I always say for myself, at least 10 times higher than the thing you charge.
Yeah.
And the moat, Warren Buffett calls it moat, like people, it should not be, not everybody should be able to imitate it, either because it's your unique code, it's your unique knowledge, or whatever. These are two things. And if you do it like that, and then we can go into the mental stuff. But what I lay down is a path, a realistic path, and then it comes to the, I believe in myself. I do all these other things, but these are like step 3 or step 4. And it's really, really, really important. There are some basics. Check your surroundings. If all the freelancers in your surroundings are broke, you will be the sixth broke freelancer. If your five freelancer friends are broke, um, if a client doesn't see the value in the stuff you bring to him, maybe the client is too small and you can 10x. Because back in the days, I did it for e-com shops. I had some e-com shops who did 100K a year. 10% increase was 10K for them. They wouldn't pay me 50K for it. But if an online shop made 10 million a year, 10% was 1 million. 15K for my services was a no-brainer for them. I just switched the client and he saw the value in my work. So these are some things. Sorry, I was just swinging out a lot, but maybe you get an idea of what I meant.
Yeah, I understand. It's always about the value, about what you bring into client. But I feel like not only this, but also how to communicate this value. Because the moment you understand yourself, the value you bring, and the moment you can get your client to also understand it, you can go for your rates. And
Yes.
I had this question, how to increase prices while people around me decreasing them, but you kind of already answered because you told that if 5 people around you are broke, you'll be the 6th. So I will just come up with another question. How to find 5 successful people to be around them? I mean, freelancers.
In the beginning, I always say it's hard in the beginning to switch your surroundings, because successful people like to sit with other successful people. Like later, I'm having lunch with another business owner. He has like 50 employees. He has lunch with me because I also am a business owner, everything. Back there in the day when I was a freelancer, he would say, I won't have lunch with you. And people say, oh, is that not cocky? No, it's not cocky. It's because the value exchange would be one-sided. He only could teach me back in the day. Now it's both-sided. So in the beginning, if you decide you have a goal, what starts to kick in is usually loneliness, because you need to step back from these things a bit. This is a thing that happens because you can't relate to them anymore, but you can. And I know it sounds, every barber will tell you need a haircut, because I do these consulting services. But what helped me back in the days, and I can tell from experience, you can buy yourself into communities. And I explicitly say buy, because if a community is free, and I don't know what kind of community background, sorry, but if a community is free, you don't have a bar for people to be able to jump over. Everybody can be in there. Everybody calls themselves freelancer. But the higher the bar for one community, the higher the people that are in the community. So when I bought myself into communities where I had to pay 6,000, 10, I bought myself into a community where I paid $36,000 for a year. And I only met quality people there. Everybody was making $1 million or more. And these people were seeing me as one of themselves, because they say, okay, this guy paid it, he's one of us. So if I would start again, I would come up with money, maybe save up money and buy myself into a community, because all of a sudden you're seeing, okay, this guy does reels on TikTok and he makes 30K a month. This guy does this and this guy does this. And you start to believe, because you're surrounded by these kind of people, and you see they're only people, they don't walk on water, they're not smarter than I am. And then you start to believe it and go about it.
Got it. So basically, work as freelancer, buy yourself into the community, and then continue to be increasing.
And the hard time is like when you start it and you don't have the money to buy yourself in a community, you have to come up. But I mean, all of the online world is full of free resources. Like you have to make it on your own. But I think sometimes it's maybe a good thing, because it's a quality gate. If you don't make it like through this quality gate, like you failed the first test, as harsh as it sounds. But yeah,
it's also nice to go to those places, because it's like a filter, exactly what you've told. So you are sure that people are there, and then so you're definitely going to the Freelance Unlocked conference. But What would you say to your friend if they asked you whether they should go there?
Every time when I was a freelancer, when I attended, and I did it not often, I should have done it more often. When I attended um, conferences, networking events, I always felt better afterwards. Freelancing can be lonely.
Hmm.
Tell your wife, tell your friend, tell everybody about this. Say, oh yeah, they can't relate. It's a really lonely route. You don't have your colleagues you have lunch with. It's all on you. And if you are the lonesome freelancer behind your YouTube videos and podcasts, I appreciate you and it's nice and I love the grind and the hustle and that you're into it. But do the step, go there, connect with like-minded people. You will see they are just like you. They're not sure of what they do. They have their weaknesses, they have their strengths. It's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with you. And I know as I'm telling you this, you're like, yeah, I already know it. To know something or to feel something, to be somewhere is a completely different thing. I also could pull up a concert of Michael Jackson, but it would be different to be at a concert because the emotions, everything would be different. So go there, do like connect with like-minded people. Maybe something great happens there. And I can tell for myself always when I was at these things, I was like, they haven't know all the answers either. So I'm not the only one. It's normal to not have all the answers. It's normal to have these struggles and these sort of fluctuations. So do it for yourself. Attend there, and of course attend there because I am there. No, this was a joke, but just give yourself a go and attend to the Freelance Unlocked.
And what is the best way to connect with you even before the conference?
I'm on Instagram a lot. Finally_freelancing. If you're on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you're German speaking and you want to start now with free value, free content, YouTube channel or Spotify, like we are everywhere. And just look for Finally Freelancing and connect. If you want to connect in English, shoot me a message on Instagram. I check my messages and I will write you back.
Got it. Maruan, thank you so much for sharing your amazing wisdom even before the conference. And I can't wait to learn even more from you on the Freelance Unlocked and hope to see you very soon in person.
Thank you very much for having me, Yuri.
And for those who listen to this episode, I hope you follow Marianne's advice, implement it, and say thank you to him in person at the Freelance Unlocked Conference on May 15-16 in Berlin. So go to the freelanceunlocked.com, grab your ticket, and meet you there.